Thank you for clicking on this video and welcome to week 2 of bonus content. Last week I talked about the Rocky Horror Picture Show and its pseudo-sequel Shock Treatment. And this week I'm going to talk about one of my all-time favorite horror movies. It falls just outside of my top 10, and that is the Belko Experiment. This little gem wasn't very well advertised. It wasn't shown in a lot of theaters in Wisconsin. That's where I'm from. That's where I live. That's where I go and see movies. I found one theater that showed this movie when it first came out, and I went and saw it with my roommate, my friend. So I did go. So we went and saw it. Loved this movie. Loved this movie from the first time I saw it. Should have silenced my cell phone before I started filming. That's my bad. But I loved this movie from the first time I saw it. It is just a great piece of film. Basically, to go over its plot, you have an office building in South America. It's primarily staffed by Americans who are sent over to South America with a tracking chip in them just in case they get kidnapped. There's some other locals in there, but they're not as many. One day, once everyone has punched in and the locals have all been sent home, the building goes into lockdown, and a voice tells them they have to kill 4 members of their staff within a half an hour. If they fail at this task, 8 people will die because the tracking chips are actually explosive devices. Because, yay! So everyone's in disbelief as to what's going on, and people are trying to find other ways around and out of the building, which is in the middle of nowhere in South America. You know, it's definitely established that there is nowhere to go, there is no way out. They try to figure it out, the half an hour passes, and 8 people's heads explode. The voice then comes back on and tells them they have an hour to basically rid themselves of half of the remaining staff, or 3/4 of the staff will have their heads exploded. Or they'll, even if they get close to the number, they'll just match. It'll be 3/4 dead by the end of this time period. You then begin to see the factions form as you have the people who believe they shouldn't kill anyone, that they should try to keep working on getting help, getting a message out, that there are ways that they can survive, and you have other people who believe that they need to find the guns that are hidden in the building, just in case, for the security personnel, and use them and figure out a way to meet the deadline so more people can live. Oddly enough, the person leading the people shouldn't die category has already came to the conclusion that most likely no one's getting out of this building alive, that it makes no sense that people will live after this situation, because they will talk, they will say something. So although he's trying to save everyone, he also firmly realizes that the course of action to follow the rules is a bad course of action, which is perfectly understandable. It's a bad course of action. They gather everyone up, and the people who get the guns eventually through a bunch of different means, murder is one of them, begin figuring out a way to figure out who should live and who should die by weeding out the old, weeding out those who don't have anyone to take care of, our children, trying to figure out how to bolster these numbers to what they need to make it. Eventually the power gets cut, all hell breaks loose. They don't make the minimum number of people, they're one off from it, so more heads explode. And the voice comes on one more time saying that last person standing basically gets to live, also using the idea that the person who kills the most will get to live in another time period, but basically it's last man standing. So now it's an all-out free-for-all between the remaining characters, and in the end, our pessimistic hero is the only one standing because he has no choice to save himself, because everyone else is dead except the one person trying to kill him, and he finds out it was all an experiment. It's a great movie. If you have never seen the Belko Experiment, I mean, I know I just kind of went over the entire plot of it. Go out and check it out. It is hard to explain the nuances this movie has. It's a very funny movie, it's an interesting movie, it's a very well acted movie, and it's written by James Gunn, who does Guardians of the Galaxy, and is about to have the Suicide Squad come out. So it's a great piece of film. I highly recommend it for anyone, especially going in to the Halloween season. Get a copy of the Belko Experiment and check it out. Alright, next week we're going to talk about one of my favorite underrated movies, and my favorite George Lucas movie. That's right. And a prequel to a movie I don't like. So it's both one of my favorite underrated movies, my favorite George Lucas movie, and it's a prequel to a movie I don't like. So it's got all that wrapped into it. So check us back next Thursday. Don't forget, on Wednesday, we have my video talking about the George Romero Dead series. It'll be a great video. It's a lot of fun, got a lot of information in it. So check that out on Wednesday, and come back next Thursday for the next video.